Good morning and welcome to Mental Health Matters. This is the show where we talk about all things workplace well-being. I'm your host, Dr Audrey Tang, and my co-host is Judith Crosier. Today we are talking about the world of work and weight. Now, we are so happy to have back one of our not only resident experts, but one of our favourite guests. We love Dr Gus Chaves. Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you for having me again.
You're always so uplifting, so positive, and in a way, that's what's necessary for such, I guess, almost a taboo topic of weight. And I think people find it difficult to talk about that. So we're going to dive straight in. Dr. Gus, do you think there is a stigma around how we look, especially when it comes to weight, when it comes to work?
Yes, definitely there is. I think there's like a unconscious bias when it comes to weight. People tend to see overweight, especially those who are, wear like in a heavier body, I would say, that suffer a lot of stigma and judgment in the workplace, and they're seen just because of their looks, seen as less competent or less hardworking or lazy. And it's unfortunately it's unconscious, but it's still deeply rooted and it exists. It's there. We already have enough evidence to show that it's not just a feeling. It is happening.
And that can extend to age as well. The superficial things we judge people on. It's really frightening because, as you say, it's unconscious. We don't necessarily realise we're doing it, or some people do realise they're doing it.
Yes, some people
and
do.
are just rude. So we will talk about that too. So what pressures might we, and especially women, because I think we're always judged on our looks, first of all, what pressures might we face when it comes to how we look in that professional context?
I think being a woman in society is quite difficult already. I think in the workplace it wouldn't be any different, but it might just add some more pressure. Women are held to a very unachievable beauty standards. And in the workplace, the way they look tends to be interpreted or very tightly linked to their professional credibility.
Yes.
So the way you look kind of represents how professional you are for women mostly. And you have to stand up to this impossible looks, like you have to be slim, you have to be,
young,
smart, the way your hair is, everything counts. And for men, that's not really the same.
That is so true. I remember when I was growing up, we're of the Gen X generation, and there were impossible standards then, but in a way you knew those women in those magazines were airbrushed. But now on social media, it's worse, I think, because you're getting the same impossible beauty standards, but the women are filtered, but they are your friend or your neighbour or people you know who are able to look like that. At least when I was growing up, it was just the woman in the magazine, so I could tell myself she's a model.
That's such a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
And it's frightening. Have you seen it sort of get worse, maybe with clients and what they come to you for?
I think people don't notice that it's getting worse.
Oh.
Okay.
So I think the situation is the same.
Yeah.
But exactly what you brought, like, because it's reachable, it looks reachable now.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yes.
Because before, as you said, like, it's a model, so that's impossible. She's, whatever. She's not eating or she's vomiting. She has an eating disorder or whatever. But nowadays, we see it more and more often, everyone achieving it.
Yes.
And being happy and being, having the best time of their lives. So that doesn't help.
Yeah. It's really interesting you say that, because I was just listening to something on the radio the other day and they were talking about influencers. And the key thing about influencers, they are trying to sell you something. It's not an influencer in a, hey, let's get healthy. It's a let's get healthy and buy this. And there is an underlying reason for looking how they do and presenting themselves how they do. And we need to just keep our minds open about that. It's frightening what we aren't realising. And just one more thing to add there about the overall judgment. That's the halo and horns effect. It's the idea of if you're pretty, then suddenly you must be smart and kind and clever. But the worst part of this halo horns effect, for women, it can work the other way. If you're too pretty, then you must be nasty or jealous or conniving. Where do we sit? Where are we women allowed to be, Gus?
I am not a woman. So I can only imagine how hard it is, because I watch from a side, but I don't think it's the easiest place to be in. So just to be a woman is like every day standing up for yourself and, you know, raising the flag like we exist, and it's a fight.
This is why we love you guys.
Yeah. You really get it.
You get it. And absolutely, we're not saying all men do blah, blah, blah. But it's really important when you go to a therapist like yourself that they have an understanding of what you're going through. And Dr. Gus he focuses on weight loss and not just for aesthetic purposes. In fact, that's not the point really. It's health purposes. And so we really love having you on for this sort of discussion, so we're really grateful to you.
Thank you really for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're very, very motivational.
Yes.
So coming back to this, do you believe there is unconscious bias and judgment when it comes to recruitment or promotion within the job about women's weight? And how does this discrimination manifest itself at work?
I think the biggest problem we have is that it's very subtle. So it makes it difficult to call out.
Yes.
But it's there. I've looked it up, and there's like a research or study done in the US in 2017, and they asked around, and only 15% of the hiring managers would consider hiring somebody overweight, which is absurd. And it's not something as you pointed out, it's unconscious. Many of it is unconscious, because the belief that somebody who's overweight is less hardworking or less, how can I say, would have less of a, what's the word?
Like a get up and go kind of attitude.
Yeah, they look at them and they already have this unconscious belief that they won't be as hardworking as somebody who's slim or whatever. So it comes within our culture, unfortunately, and it's something we have to fight. And I think the biggest problem we have when it comes to being overweight in the workplace is how much the judgment gets in the way instead of just the weight.
That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. And actually, this really relates to other shows we've recorded about judgment.
Yes.
And our perception of being judged as much as somebody's judgment on us.
Yes, absolutely. And can I just say something about, you said it's subtle, or can I tell you about a very not subtle incident that happened to me at work? So this was a few years ago. I was working in a sales environment just before teaching, and I wasn't skinny, but I wasn't, when I entered teaching, I was a lot slimmer than I am now. Anyway, it was a sales culture, and it was a very, very misogynistic. But you know, there were a lot of things. One of those, and a lot of things went with it. Anyway, Friday lunchtimes was kebab Friday, or whatever it was called. And I'd never had one in my life, and they were like, "Oh, I can't believe it!" So of course they introduced me to it, and every Friday we had a kebab. So 2 years later, my manager took me into a room and said, "You've put on too much weight. You need to stop. Why are you eating all these kebabs?" Well, because it was a kind of culture that if you didn't join in,
then you're excluded.
Exactly right. So it was like I was brought into this, and then I was berated for it. It was so unsubtle. And he said, you know, you need to lose weight. You're never going to survive in this industry. You need to go to the gym. You need to do this. So I left, obviously. And the irony is that I was putting on weight, not just because I had a kebab once a week, But because it was so stressful, it was the inflammation and all that comes with stress
You
and all
also
of that.
had medical.
I had medical,
issues
yes,
as well.
I did as well, yeah. So it was just like the most unbelievable conversation I'd ever had with a boss in my whole life. And it was the most unsubtle thing. He literally said to me, basically, you're too overweight to work in this environment. So
I think you've said exactly what you needed to be said. It wasn't subtle at all. And I think, I don't know, when we start to touch hate crime.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument for that.
Because it's too much. He doesn't have the right to get into your personal space and tell you what you need to do.
It was terrible. And it was probably just before people, and we all began to be aware of hate crime and that type of thing that became completely unacceptable. It was outrageous what he said, but I didn't think about taking it further. Whereas if it happened now, obviously, I'd know that I could do that and I would do that.
And also, before you just go on to your next question, I just mentioned, because we've talked about it on the show before, you had medical issues at the time, and there can surely be an argument for a boss saying, is there something else going on? Because it doesn't that get into discrimination otherwise?
Well, he was very discriminatory anyway, and I didn't know why, but until I had that conversation with him, or until he had that conversation with me, and then I thought, oh my goodness, he's been like this for the last 2-3 years, whatever, because I'm overweight, because that's why. Now he's just told me why. So it was just awful. Yeah. Anyway, so I really empathise and sympathise with if anyone's going through this, because it's not very nice. Yeah.
I'm really sorry that you went through that.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Now I know it's more about him, the type of person he was, and anyway, it just kind of shows that the subtlety is really important, because even though somebody might not be overtly like he was, they might still be thinking it.
Yeah, but there are different ways to approach it.
Oh, yes.
And I think he was very unfortunate in his approach.
That's one word for it.
I don't think he ever meant well.
Yeah,
that's
I agree.
the thing, because he could come to you and say, "Listen, I've been observing that you've putting on weight. Is anything happening? It shows I care about you." But right there, he was, "I care about the image of the school or whatever." And you are not aligned to our values, so you need to do this. It's a complete. It didn't help you at all.
And I think
it really didn't.
You see what I mean? So it just added to the fact, added stress. We're going to talk about how to, how it could impact negatively his approach. So it didn't help at all. I don't know why he wanted, what he wanted, but it was not the right way to approach it, to talk about the subject.
And you've made a really interesting distinction there, because with the healthy or helpful intention, even if you're clumsy in how you say it, it still comes across differently.
Yes, exactly.
We're going to keep you with us, and we'll be back just after this.
Navigating today's workplace is tough.
Toxic employees, endless drama, a lack of motivation. We've all been there.
But fear not, we are here to help. My name is Leanne and I'm a chartered psychologist.
My name is Al and I'm a business owner. And together we dig into the scientific and commercial secrets behind great workplace cultures in Truth, Lies and Work.
A no-nonsense, award-winning psychology podcast brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network. We explore practical strategies for building a great workplace.
We debunk buzzwords and bring you the very best advice around finding and keeping great people, from personality tests.
Personality tests they're mostly bollocks. I don't know what kind of language you do on your podcast. I don't know if people know this, but the man who wrote the Wonder Woman comics is the person who invented the disc.
When more flexible working became a norm, you no longer hurt your career prospects by being the one person who worked flexibly.
All the way to avoiding high turnover.
We recruit and promote people to managerial roles based on their technical skills, not their people skills. This is a very fundamental problem we have, which we haven't directly tackled.
From toxic-free cultures,
interventions for the individual are only half the answer. Systemic change is the other half.
to sustainable growth.
Thinking beyond just paying somebody a good salary, I think is is super necessary now. We have to offer so much more than that.
We have got you covered.
So join us on Tuesdays and Thursdays where we help you to simplify the science of work and build amazing workplace cultures.
Welcome back to Mental Health Matters Office Hours. We have Dr. Gus Chaves with us, and we're talking about weight and work. So we were talking about unconscious bias against people who are overweight, but it also, there might be some reality. So how might obesity impact work and the performance of people who are overweight?
Well, there is some truth to that. So obesity can bring some physical impact that might affect the work in some aspects, especially if it's a physically demanding job.
Yeah.
Because obese people are dealing with joint pains, back pain sometimes, fatigue. So there is like a mobility, like reduction in mobility.
Yeah.
So all this piled together does make it harder for obese people to even enjoy or withstand a whole workday. So there is some aspects to consider. But in general, what I see most is how much the judgment and all the the environment that is created around that judgment, and that impacts so much on the person's focus, motivation, self-worth, and then all that together impacts more on how they work, how much they can actually produce in work than the weight on its own.
It's frightening.
So it might be that somebody who's overweight is perfectly capable of working a whole day, perfectly capable of moving around the office or whatever it is they do, but the perception that they feel from others
could prevent them.
Could affect them, whereas just being overweight might not affect them at all.
I wouldn't say that the overweight wouldn't affect at all, because there are some physical impacts of the weight.
Yes.
But in general, if you have support for the person as a whole, and you feel like it's a supportive group and a supportive environment, and it's a place that it's focused more on well-being and being who you are and accepted as who you are, the impact of the body on its own, of the weight on the person's performance is not as important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that
I
makes
think
a whole lot of
that
sense.
absolutely does, because there is that self-fulfilling prophecy almost, isn't
Yes.
it? Someone believes you can't do
Yes.
it. You almost start acting in that way because
Yeah.
almost they're so shocked when you do something, and it's just that's a really good. I never thought about it in that way.
No, I didn't either.
That's
really good.
really important.
point.
And relating to that, your work is very much about reasons for weight gain as well. You explore those reasons, and you of course take a very nurturing and supportive approach, which is important. But are there common reasons, aside from that judgment and the pressures, that you find causes weight gain?
It's such a broad topic, and it's very difficult to just say, this is the cause.
Yeah.
We have so many ways to look at it. Like if we look at it populational-wise, 40 or 50 years ago, we had a scarcity in food and more movement in our daily lives.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
We don't move at all. We drive places. We don't walk almost. And food, crappy food, is in abundance and it's easy to get.
Yeah.
So that alone can explain overweight and why obesity is happening in such big numbers as it is. Even in the UK now, it's suffering a lot with obesity. But other than that, we have also behaviors that come with that, and stress is a big one. Shame is a big one. Low self-esteem. We have, my God, there are so many things that pop up in trauma. Trauma is a big one that people don't realize. And then sometimes culture, what is, in your family, this is how we do it.
Yes.
And this is how we do it becomes so natural that they're not able to see what they're doing.
Yes.
And when you point it out, well, that shouldn't be normal. Yeah. And then you have to go against the person's identity to say, well, this is who I am, this is what I eat, this is how I behave. So it's a lot of building.
Culture's a huge one, because in my family, which is very much the Chinese culture, it was, you're so cute if you're a fat baby. So they feed you and they feed you more, and they go, you're so cute, you're so cute. And then you grow up to be a fat toddler and it's suddenly like, you're fat.
Oh my goodness, wow.
Changed, just like that. Been there, done that. Stayed fat. No, it's one of those things where you just, it is embedded in you that fat is cute, then suddenly fat's bad.
Oh, wow.
But the culture itself, you've already started laying down habits when you're not even prepared to know their habits, which is frightening.
Yes.
And you also mentioned stress. Stress is a massive thing because it's hormonal as much as anything else.
Yes, whenever we're dealing with stress, we're talking about cortisol levels.
Yeah. And
when cortisol rises, we have a rise also in ghrelin, which is the appetite hormone. So it's the hunger hormone. So you feel hungrier or hangrier.
Yeah, that's the word.
And so you start to go for food, for comfort. And the body has more serotonin. You produce more serotonin when you eat carbs and fats. So these are the ones that actually give you comfort. So what we have, when somebody's going through stress, they start to look for something to release, have a moment of relief.
Yeah.
So you go for something that will give you that. And once you get a trigger and a response, that's established. And when you repeat it, at some point, it goes on automatically.
Yeah.
So it becomes your autopilot.
Just as you're talking as well, it's so interesting because you're saying that there's almost serotonin and all of dopamine. It's stronger when you're hungrier. So I think you then eat and then you get a bigger hit than you would have otherwise. And it feels so much better. Do you ever desensitize to it? So not only has it become habitual, but now you need more.
Yes. Unfortunately, but I always I'm gonna go keep the hopeful a bit. I always compare your eating habits. If you have one that's like cravings and this kind of sweets or high in fat, because it becomes like I need this. It's almost like drug.
Yes.
So you do need to step away. You're gonna get cranky for 2 to 3 weeks because you're gonna miss it, but once you desensitize, like you're no longer needing it, things start to have more of a flavor, richer flavor. Your tongue changes all its, the whole composition of the taste buds changes every 10 to 15 weeks.
Oh my
15 days, sorry, 10 to 15 days. So your whole tongue is new. To taste something different. So if you give yourself the time to say 2 to 3 weeks, no more of this, when you go back, it's going to be too sweet or too high in fat. So if you just give yourself the time to go through the cranky period, because it's challenging, but it's worth it.
Sorry, I know you've got a question, but it's so interesting because I've been away and I was really jet lagged, and I was really craving chocolate, which I never crave. And so once I had it, then I felt a lot better because I almost told myself, I'm sure this is just a craving because I'm really tired. If I just don't have any more after this, I will not crave it further. And actually, I managed to curb that craving because I notice it's around Christmas time where, there's loads of chocolate around and you just eat it anyway. Then I develop this almost need generally for it. But just being away, I know I needed it. Then needed it. But then I was able to not have to have it.
I tell people it's not wrong to go for it if you're aware where it's coming from. Like, I'm stressed right now. It would really help me to relieve, a little bit of release.
Yeah.
So why not? Just be conscious, be mindful whilst having it. Like, you know what the purpose is.
Yeah.
It's no longer uncontrolled. But you can't say, like, I feel like having that chocolate right now because I'm stressed. Control how much of the chocolate. Eat slowly so that you can, savor it and make it last. You don't have to have it all in a minute. You can have a little bit in 2-3 minutes and just savor it and make it last. So that you have that relief we're looking for.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Know why you're having it rather than just,
Yeah, it's conscious. It's all about bringing it into the conscious mind, isn't it?
Yeah, interesting. So there is a relationship between stress and weight gain, but also perimenopause is another area where, women experience weight gain. So is that real or is that just a myth?
It's a myth.
Oh.
No,
I wish.
That's real. No, that's completely real. The problem we have is that a lot of companies profit on it.
Yeah.
So they kind of make it as much as possible. So we start to doubt it. But it's not a myth. It's real and it's here. What happens is during perimenopause, estrogen starts to decrease. With that, we have a slower metabolism, and we have a new redistribution of fat tissue, mainly in the abdominal area. So it does happen, and it is expected. And what we should do is treat women with respect, compassion, and science, and a little bit less judgment, because the beauty standards for women are impossible, and we always have like that one specific, artist who can pay for all the kind of treatments, so they look marvelous 4 months after having a baby, and they look like they're new, and it's like, what's going on? Please, it's normal, it's safe. Be you. You're gonna put on some weight. It doesn't have to be 30 kilos, but it's gonna have some shifting in where you store fat in your body, and it's expected.
Love that. Treat women with science.
Yeah, well,
Beautiful.
it is. It's the science that kind of makes sense of everything. When you're explaining why women put weight on in perimenopause, it makes a lot of sense. I suppose.
And weight change, it's where you hold weight that suddenly changes. So in a way, it's kind of, I've not always held weight around my stomach. I've always had it around my hips and thighs. But as I've got older, I'm having more around my stomach. And I notice it because I've never had it before. But it's more about a redistribution of it.
Okay.
So again, understanding the science helps process that.
And lift the shame and guilt. That also adds more cortisol and adds more.
Exactly.
So it's like a loop.
Yep. It is. It's
Yes.
negative.
So this isn't a question that's here, but is there anything you can do about science? Kind of if weight is being distributed because of hormones and because of that.
Do we switch up our routines, our fitness routines? What can we do?
I think the best way to look at it is acceptance that is going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And just because it's happening, it doesn't mean you cannot do anything about it.
Yeah.
But it means some changes need to happen also in your habits.
Yeah.
Because we also listen to people that are very proud of their habits or stubborn, I'm going to say, and say, but I've always been like this. Yes, but now you are at this stage of your life, so you're no longer the same person as you were yesterday or the day before. We're changing constantly. You don't eat as a child. You don't, behave as a teenager. You don't, when you're going into this phase, you want to say to yourself, I've always been this way. You haven't. So it's time to progress, also to rethink some behaviors, include a little bit more of salad, fibers in your diet, more water, and some exercise. But the redistribution is not something you can go against, naturally.
Yeah.
So that's my tip there. Accept that it's happening and make the best you can so you can.
And that
live
relates
well.
just to what you were saying. We talked about a fitness instructor that we both knew. He's about 52, 53 now. Suddenly, even though he's doing the same amount of classes, all of that, he suddenly put put on weight, and he then had to reassess his habits. But it started off, I've always done this. I've always taught 16 classes a week. Why am I putting on weight? He had to not fight it, and he's lost that weight. So it
is possible. It's just rethinking and rescheduling and replanning.
Dr. Gus, we're keeping you with us, and we'll be back just after this. Welcome back to Mental Health Matters Office Hours. We've got Dr. Gus Chaves with us, and we are talking about weight, judgment, shame, and science. Thankfully, science. And one of the key things, I'm going to keep that in my mind, is we treat women with compassion and science.
Yes, I love that.
And treat everybody, if we're treating with compassion and science. I think that, get it right for one, you'll get it right for everybody else. So on that note, you work, Dr. Gus, with that sensitive area of weight. People come to you because they're having problems with their weight gain, problems with their health, because you do a lot of health-related weight. And how do you support people and almost get them to open up about these issues?
I think my approach is always very nurturing and non-judgmental. So if they come to me, they're already struggling with something. Nobody comes to me just to say, I want to lose weight. And if that's the case, they normally don't become my clients, because that's not what I offer. My intention is always to link or find out what's going on beneath the wanting to lose weight. Why do they want to lose weight? Is it because they want to fit into this beauty pattern, or is it like because there's something else happening? I've had many people reach out to me to lose weight, but in the end, that's not what they wanted.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I had a case where a woman came and she wanted to find a new boyfriend. She hadn't had a boyfriend in 5 years, and she was worried about that. So we completely shifted the talk. And interestingly, like a week after we ended our sessions, she met somebody. You know, because we were working on something else. We were working on developing self-esteem. What is self-worth? How do we express self-love? And when we linked that to the healthier habits, so eating well, exercising, it's no longer I have to. It's like, oh, maybe I deserve to do that for myself. And little by little, just because you love yourself, the world starts to, resonate, and it makes everything easier. So
that's amazing.
That is, and it's almost when we treat ourselves well when we're ill because we want to recover, and it's almost transferring the same compassion that we have at that time to day to day. The minute we get well, we're back, in our bad habits again. Which brings me to a brilliant video you put on Instagram. I love this video. If you haven't seen it, it's really worth watching. I might try and find it and play it. But it's how do we start these bad habits? And you talk about bad habits, and you talk about knowing that you shouldn't eat a donut. And then the next frame is all of the donuts have disappeared, and you don't know why that happened. That's me. That was almost real footage of what I will do. I will say, I know I don't need to eat it. Oh, maybe I'll have the one. Then it's all gone, and I don't know what's happened. So tell me what I'm doing.
So it's the worst part of the habit is it comes with guilt.
Yeah.
But normally these habits, they are created with time. So they've been repeated over and over. Yeah. So whenever you're having, mainly it's a coping mechanism. It's an emotional situation that you don't feel like experiencing. So, to alleviate the situation, you go for something that gives you comfort or a reward or a safety. And once that link is done, you start repeating it because it worked once. And it worked the second time and the third time. So at some point, whenever you're not even aware of what's going on, the brain knows what to do.
And just unconsciously
So whenever people say, when I least expected, when I had eaten it all. I was like, I understand that. That's not you. That was created. So now we need to just rewire those loops because it's going to go on automatically without noticing. That's why you mentioned bringing it to consciousness is the first step.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Can I just quickly say, when I was teaching, every single lesson I had to have a cup of tea, and a very sweet cup of tea. So I barely drink tea now. Now I don't teach.
That was a
So it was like almost like I couldn't get through the lesson without a cup of tea because it was comforting. You've just like a little light bulb's just gone off. That's what, and I had like 8 cups of tea every day with loads of sugar.
Yeah, but the habits they can be creating in so many different situations. It can be connected to a place, to a moment, to a time in the day. We create those. Like in the morning, you probably don't even realize until you're leaving the house that you brushed your teeth, had breakfast, put on your clothes, because you're doing on autopilot.
Yeah.
But you know those habits are okay to keep. There are some other ones, maybe what you're having for breakfast, what time you're brushing your teeth, all these things can be tweaked. But it takes time. If you don't do it consciously initially, you will go on autopilot forever until you decide to make some changes.
And this is where our current world doesn't necessarily help us, because to have some healthy habits, I think it can be quite expensive for some people. Even just having something like gluten-free or having a dietary requirement met, it's an extra cost. So I think it's quite difficult to form healthier habits. It's all very well drinking water, but what if you don't like the taste of water? What if you need to put something in it?
You can. You can. About the water. You can just put a strawberry in it, cucumber in it, and start having, flavored water. So you have water,
it's not that expensive.
No, that's
it's
true.
Just fruit or ginger or something to spice it up, and it's still water. It's going to hydrate you, which is what matters, because most fizzy drinks, coffee, tea, they dehydrate you. So they're going against what we want.
And squash is now full of these awful additives and artificial sweeteners and things. So can't use squash anymore.
No, please don't use squash ever.
I never do, because it's just vile.
No.
But that's a great idea. Cucumber, strawberry.
Yeah, anything.
I love that.
You can just create your own recipe.
I would never have thought about that.
Yeah, and this is how badly my brain is wired. Whilst I was away, we were having to hydrate because we were on a mountain, and they had this machine in there which had flavoured water, so you could have cucumber and mint. And I remember taking the water going, oh, it tastes just like there's a real cucumber in it. And I just put a cucumber in.
And I love cucumber water. So
it's lovely.
I've never tried it.
You put it, just slice some up, put it in the water, leave it in the fridge, and have it in, I don't know, an hour or 2 or even less. You can just put it in and drink. It makes it so tasteful, like it's so flavorful, and it's. I feel like I'm being hydrated in the first sip. Like, oh my god, this is so good. It's really good.
I'm going to try that.
I am. I'm going to buy cucumber on the way home.
Yes.
Literally.
Very good.
3 women are going to walk into supermarkets and come out with 1 cucumber. We all know how that looks. Anyway. We'll save that for the night show. Sorry.
Well, the topic is going this way.
We have gone now. It's too far now. Too far. Bring it back. Save us, Judith.
Oh my goodness.
Workplace.
Yes, workplace. So if we want to break unhealthy habits, how can the workplace help us do that?
I think first, I know it can help. But we have to work also, remember people's accountability. It's not the workplace responsibility to be doing everything for you. We cannot just sue McDonald's because they exist. You have to go in, choose what you want, pay for it, and then eat. So it's the same in workplace. They can help, because I think if you're there, they should be trying to encourage you to have a, healthier life. Because if you have a healthier life, they get more from you too. So if you work, if we put ourselves in the place of the company, it would be in their best interest that you eat well, that you exercise. So instead of just having a food bowl available, they could maybe find some space for people to breathe and work more the well-being culture instead of just, that just eat fruit, because that's not really much. So maybe offering people flexible hours, some stretching exercises in, midday, any kind of exercise or activity that could make them move, or movement breaks, things like that could really help. And also try to minimize or extinguish the appearance culture.
Yeah.
How you show up to work doesn't really mean how you dress or how, how... I don't even know how it is to be a woman, but whenever I see women wearing all the makeup, the hair, the nails, the dress, the shoes, I'm like, no, this is too much. Why do we put so much pressure on you?
That's the thing. It must cost a fortune for some women because they feel judged if they don't appear in public like that, and they don't appear in their workplace like that. It's very, very hard.
And I was reading this journalist who investigated Botox culture, and she said one of the biggest problems is they show you the before and after photo, and you're the before. Your authentic face is the before.
Yes.
And that it psychologically messes with you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not good. So there's some really great ideas then how the workplace can help us. So how can we be more compassionate with ourselves, especially when we're just starting to change those habits that we've always had?
It takes a while, but I think, as we said, like bringing it to consciousness, what are the habits that you want to change first, and why? The why is what's going to determine if you're going to keep it or not. So if you have a clear why do you want to change it, what are the new habits that you want to implement, it makes it a lot easier. And I would always recommend starting with self-talk. Because we have some habits that we don't account for because they don't show up. They're all in our head. So what we tell ourselves, the kind of things that our self-talk can be so toxic that if we had a friend or a family member that would talk to us in that way, we would no longer be in touch. And so we can be very harsh with our own selves. So working on self-talk initially is the first step to make that new habit stick. So instead of saying, oh, I failed, I'm learning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we can be very, very harsh on ourselves.
And I think what I notice is when I'm judgmental, I recognise if I judge other people, I'm probably judging myself and speaking to myself even worse. And it's that realisation, and now you're really talking about bringing into the consciousness, that makes a big difference. Still working on it, but I think that's a really interesting point.
It really is.
And working on it, that's how we do it.
Yeah, working on it. We're all a work in progress. Yeah. That's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's really interesting. So before you can physically change something, you need to change the way that you talk to or
I think the way you approach the new habit is a good way to go. Because if you just say, I'm just going to do this, okay, but do it gently. It's a change. It doesn't happen, People have very unrealistic expectations. So I'm going to start going to the gym 5 times a week and I'm going to work out for 2 hours every session. I'm like, listen, this is like the recipe for disaster. And if you want to build low self-esteem, go on. That's great. That's the plan. But be gentle. Change takes time. So go little by little. Focus on what you like to do first. How, what works. And little by little, we say that the brain can only cope with 2 changes at a time.
Ah, good to know.
So if you try to implement 5 or 6,
it's a bit overwhelming.
It's too much.
Yeah.
So maybe find the one that's going to be the best result for what you're looking for. What's going to please you more, starting today, and little by little we add the other ones.
Love that.
Great advice.
Practical. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Where can we find out more about you?
You can find me on my website, guschaves.com, where I talk a little bit more about my approach. I mix trauma-informed coaching with hypnotherapy, my medicine background, neuroscience, and Chinese medicine sometimes. It's all on my website, or you can find me on Instagram at Dr. for Dr. Gus Chaves, and that's how you can find me.
Brilliant,
thank you, because we're so pleased to have you, because you've got training in, yes, you do clinical hypnotherapy, but your background, as we've had on the show before, is medical and medical training, medical clowning as well. So please watch Dr. Gus's other episodes and you'll know why we love him. We'll head over to Business Boost. Today I wanted to give you some tips on workplace interventions, and you can encourage more active mobile workplaces by encouraging things like sit-stand desks, culture change, exactly as Dr. Gus Chaves said. Promote the benefits of getting up, walking around, moving around, having a chat to people, or even encourage people to do a little bit more standing up when they're working from home. You could embrace more active commutes. You could encourage people to cycle to work. You can give incentives to do that. Encourage proper breaks. That's another big thing. Don't have people just eat at the desk. That's really unhealthy. Ask them to get up, go out, have some benches in the park perhaps. You also might want to look at the health promotion and educational messages that you're giving. So could you promote walking trails near the office, or could you introduce people to new neighbourhoods or historical sites that are of interest that they could walk to, and maybe even organise a company step challenge. For more of those tips, do visit the Optima Health website, and they will give you more ideas of how you can get people moving and healthier at work. We've reached the last part of the show, and as always, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you, Gus.
Thank you. It was really a pleasure being here.
Oh, well, we'll have you back on the show soon. So there's so much to take away, and one of the biggest things for me was the fact that our taste buds literally renew over two weeks or so. That's brilliant.
Mind-blowing.
Because that means if I can not have sugar or something like that for the 2 weeks, I will look for different tastes, and it makes a huge difference. It's a game changer.
Well, it is, because anyone can do something different for 10 days, 2 weeks, as you say. It's not like you have to do it for 6 months to reap the rewards.
But it's almost every time I've done any of these diets or all of those changing your habits, no one's ever explained that.
No.
And so they always say, it's about 2 weeks, it takes 2 weeks to work. No, there's a reason why.
Yes.
Now I know the reason, it becomes a lot easier to do that. So again, it's not just the conscious, it's the science.
It's the science, yeah. It's always good to know that.
It's why we have experts on who are on the top of their field.
Yes.
And we keep long-form content because of that specifically. What else have you taken away?
I think that having kind of gone through the experience, it's realising that judgment from other people is more about them than it is about you, and to try and not feel shame just because of how other people might view you or how other people might view obesity, because there's so many times when it's not that person's fault that they might be overweight, and so to take away the shame and to realise that it's about other people, that's quite a big thing, really.
That comes back to understanding the science as well. It's
educating
people more on the science.
Yes.
There's just, so many things. Positive self-talk as well, looking at how we treat ourselves. Oh my goodness, Dr. Gus, we're going to hand it over to you to give some top tips of, just what we can take away from today in a nutshell.
Oof. Okay.
Big ask.
Well, I think tip number 1 would be kinder to yourself.
Yeah.
I think we can be very harsh to ourselves, and if you are trying to implement a change, know that it already comes with resistance. So knowing that resistance is going to show up, be compassionate towards yourself and go little by little. It takes time, so give yourself the time. Second thing is look out for what you're looking for as a result. I don't like people to be focused on results, but if you choose the habits that will bring you more results, just focus on that habit. Forget about the result and live life purposefully. So your new purpose is just to get a hold of that new habit, get used to that new habit until it becomes second nature to you. So at some point, you are becoming that new person. When you involve your identity to that habit, it's now who you are. So you no longer need to think about the results will come. It's no longer what you're looking for. You're just looking for a healthier way to live, or living more compassionately with yourself. Third thing I would say is resistance happens. It's going to come, and it's going to show up in various forms. Friends, family, yourself. Because whenever you're changing, they see themselves losing you. And that's very difficult for them. So they will invite you to things that you shouldn't be doing, to places you wouldn't like to go anymore. And they'll do it not because they want to harm you, but because they want to make sure that you're still there. So be compassionate with them too. Understand the process and be you with them. Allow them to be part of the change with you. Otherwise they feel like they're losing you, and you might be feeling betrayed. Anyway, it's a very tough moment to go through, but it's worth it. So just focus on yourself and go for it.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Dr. Gus. Whilst you were talking, we were both, yes, the friends.
That's a huge
friends
thing.
And family.
Wow.
Massive thing.
Yeah.
Oh, we could have the whole show about that
Yes.
as well. It's opened up so many discussions, but I know we're out of time. What's your intentions this week? Make sure your intentions are good, whether they're aimed at yourself or whether they're aimed at other people, and have a healthy week.